Hi, this is Amethyst Trelevin here with Psychic Ogham reading number 788 for my client with the initials N for Netherlands, E for Europe, N-E. Thank you, N-E, for asking me to read for you, and the questions that you asked me about were specifically around your relationship, your current relationship and where that's going, around your career possibilities for the future, and you also asked me about the children. We'll see if we can get that far in this reading. Okay, let's start off first of all with this Ogham stave here. This is Bethel Birch. And this is very much about new beginnings, and it's in the position of theming the whole of your reading. So this is a great stave to have here because it's very much about you experiencing new ways of living, you having new experiences, you enjoying new ways of living and so forth. And I think that's going to come out quite strongly in this reading as we go forward. I'll just spend a little bit of time in this section here, but we'll spend the most of the time here. Over here, these three staves here talk very much about the last year or so, and in actual fact this stave here, this Ogham stave here, themes the last 12 months or so, and this is blackthorn or strafe, and not my most favourite Ogham stave, as my regular clients will know, but if it's going to come up in a reading, I'm pleased to see it in the past and not in the future. This is about frustration, and it's about it's often right at the extreme of desolation and concern and worry, and even at depression. Now, that's not to say that that is necessarily the case with you, but I can see that when we're looking at these three staves put together, that there's been some trepidation for you. There's been some real hesitation, and whilst you're in a relationship now for 6 months, you've mentioned to me, you're still hesitating. You still have part of you wants to go rushing in, the other half says, whoa, hang on, I don't know. And also in terms of your career, your motivation has been lacking as well. Underneath here we have pine or ilium, and this is about seeing things, the bigger picture of things. And so for you, particularly in terms of your career, you've been starting to think less about what you're doing now and much more about where you want to take that in the future. So that's very much about looking longer term. And then sitting over the top of that was heather, and that's about partnership, that's about love, that's about companionship, that's about shared honesty, shared love. And it's a really beautiful stave, this one, because it's really about deep and meaningful love. It's not about the Hollywood kiss and tell kind of stuff. This is a beautiful stave that really says some of those last few months with your new partner have actually been really quite blissful, and you've enjoyed them immensely. So that's really good news. Right in the middle here we have broom, and this sits in the position of where you are right now, and this is about sweeping away all of the old experiences, perhaps some of the old goals you had as well, and certainly old memories, old hurts. Now is the time to sweep all of that away so that you can allow the new to come in. Remember that you had Beth or Birch up here, which is theming all of your reading, and there's a real need for you to allow new experiences in, but you can't let the new experiences in until you let the old stuff go. And for you, you're still hanging on to a few old hurts. Let's look at this here, because this is the next 12 months or so, and we really want to focus on the answers to your questions in this section here. This stave here is Alder or Fian. This is themes your next 12 months or so as well. And interestingly, this is about giving and receiving advice. It's about seeking support. It's about looking for help from friends, from family, from experts, from loved ones as you continue to move forward. Now, what's really interesting with this for you is that if we remember that you still have Beth or Birch, remember that's all about new beginnings. You're not as much of a risk taker as you used to be, and you've almost conditioned yourself not to be as much of a risk taker as you used to be. But in this next 12 months, it's really important that you make calculated risks, and you do so with the support and love, kindness and expertise of people around you who can support you. Because there are some massive changes coming for you, but it's really important that as you move forward, you do so with support, and we'll talk about those as we move on. Sitting here is, over the top of this one, is Lewis or Rowan, and Rowan is very much about self-protection. It's about making sure that you cross the T's and dot the I's in terms of legal stuff, in terms of financial stuff, in terms of health stuff, in terms of all of those different spheres around you where you need to protect yourself, look after yourself in some format. Now, that's not to say that you will necessarily come a cropper legally or financially in the coming year, but in terms of setting up the new business that you want to do, really important that you do that from an absolutely essentially safe, financial, legal, practical foundation. So this is saying to you, it's really important that you make sure that you've set the business up, the foundation of the business up properly, and I'm going to talk about that a little more shortly. Underneath that is Ivy or Gort, and thankfully they are together, but Ivy is underneath. Ivy talks about the next 12 months being a time of survival, and that kind of it has a negative connotation for many folks. But Ivy is very much about the next 12 months will be, to put it bluntly, damn hard work in terms of your career, in terms of the effort that you put into life just generally, and in terms of your relationship. There's possibly a new address coming up for you as well. It's going to be a year where you work really, really hard in all manner of things. So it's really important that you do an awful lot of looking after you in terms of your health in this current year as well. What's good though about Ivy is that it means that even though the year ahead might be an awful lot of hard work, it's actually still going to be a successful year. Now I need to moderate that term. It's not financially, particularly, it's not going to be a year of massive, the bank balance is not going to go skyrocketing, but it is going to be a year where you cope, and you cope reasonably well. Now this one here, this bottom stave here is one that kind of underpins the future for you, and this is Willow or Sail. And Willow is saying to you, for heaven's sake, NE, you need to trust your instincts more. Now, I'm going to temper that with a statement that sometimes we mistake our instincts for the rational stuff that our brain says and or what our heart wants. So we have three different things. We have our instincts, which are our gut, core, soul purpose in life. It's absolute essence of who we are. And then you have your brain, and that says to you all the rational stuff, which quite often is not rational, and it attacks you with doubts, and it attacks you with what it thinks is logic. Not always the case, which is interesting. And then we have the wants, so that's the third section, and the wants can be, I really, really want to feel loved and honoured and cherished, or I really, really want to have independence. So the wants are not always synchronous, in harmony with what the brain tells you, and they're not always in harmony with what your intuition tells you either. So for you this year, it's really important that you listen to your intuition. Don't always listen to the doubts that come through from your brain, because they're not always logical or rational, even though they will tell you that they are. And so don't always listen to what your brain tells you are hard facts, and don't be misguided by the I want. Listen to your intuition. That has the strongest ability to support you in living a life which is authentic for what you actually need rather than what you want. So let's draw that all together for you and use that as a means to answer the questions that you asked me about. Let's talk about your current partner right now and what this means for your relationship. It actually means some really good stuff for your relationship coming forward. You specifically asked me about should you move in with this gentleman, and that you've been talking about that. You've already unconsciously made the decision about that anyway, so whether I tell you no or whether I tell you yes will make no difference. The fact remains that you will move in with this gentleman, and we know with this one here that things are going to be okay. It's not going to be all skyrockets and absolutely fantastic straight off, but you're going to be okay. What's really important though is that you trust your instincts. Don't dive in, don't jump in. It's not about what you want, it's about what your instincts tell you are important, okay? Long term, I don't see any major problems with the relationship, but I do see that it's going to be hard work for both of you. There are a number of factors that you need to draw together into this relationship in terms of its practicalities, and that is where you live, and I'm still seeing a new address for you. I'm also seeing quite strongly coming through here is there is a need for you to protect yourself financially and to make sure that you set up bank accounts and house ownership and all of that kind of stuff in such a way that you do not give away your power. Really, really important that both of you come at this relationship from an equal standing as much as possible. You must not be living in each other's pockets legally and financially. That's really, really important. So a little bit of self-protection there is not only wise, but it's really, really important for you. I don't see an unhappy relationship at all. I see more of a companionship relationship developing, which is fantastic. Hard work, so it's going to be okay. You also asked me about career and where that's going, and again, you know, I keep coming back to this one here, which is Bethel Birch. Fantastic new opportunities are coming your way if you take it slowly and if you do your homework first. Here's Lewis coming in to the fore again. Do your homework first and pick it up slowly. It will not be successful if you ditch your job and then go hell for leather into this new business that you want to do. You need to create the business. You need to have a couple of clients under your belt and use that as the experience to teach you how to leverage off it and improve it even further and gradually build it up. Yes, it looks to be moderately successful for you. Not millions of dollars coming out of it, I'm afraid. Not that you were ever expecting that, but it's a much slower start than you anticipated. But again, I really, 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 really am listening to Lewis that is telling me, Lewis or Rowan is saying, do your homework first. Think about what your business plan is. Do a worst case scenario business plan and a best case scenario business plan and head towards the worst case so that you are creating a much greater cushion for yourself of self-preservation and financial buffer, if you will, when cash flow is a bit crap. Think very, very much about where do you get your clients from, and who are your clients? What is your tribe? What is your audience of clients? Because for you, it will be a niche of clients. It's not broad, so you need to think about who those clients are. And Lewis or Rowan is very much saying you haven't really got that nailed down yet, and it needs to be nailed down further. Who exactly are the kinds of people that you're going to be supporting in a coaching role? The other thing is that they're saying, please make sure that all of your finances are in order before you go into the business as well. And again, they're yelling at me, don't give up your day job. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to work. It just means that it's nice and slow. Really important that you think about that from the gradual perspective as an entry means. You asked me also about your kids, and I'm afraid I'm getting nothing about them, and that may well be because it's very difficult for me and the Oghams as a partnership to move through the energy of the person that I'm reading, which in this case is you, move through that energy into the energy of these other people without their permission. So it may well be that that's why I'm not getting a block on. So what I'm seeing here is it's really important that you trust your intuition in the next 12 months. Think about the difference between your intuition, your wants, and what your brain tells you, and follow your intuition. And that might be quite confusing for you, because sometimes we don't know what's intuition, what's wants, and what our brain is telling you. Meditate on this. Think about this. Just spend a bit of time listening a little bit more. Know that lots of new situations are coming your way in this coming year as well. Really important that you think about your health in this coming year. There's a tendency for you towards tiredness and sometimes towards achiness as well. That will increase in the next 12 months because you're going to have a massive workload in the next 12 months. Not just physically but energetically as well, with the development and the fostering of this new relationship. We're bringing together the ideas for the new business. And the ideas for that new business are not fully, focused yet, and you've got a little bit more work on that to do. That's where your business plan will come in, really focus it down. So that's going to take a little bit of energy for you. I keep being told that you need to have a new vehicle, that you need to have a new car, and that will occur within the next 12 months as well. But you need to be focusing and thinking about the safety of your finances as well. So there's a little bit of a dilemma there for you. Do not go in over your head in terms of finances, I'm being told. Now, your animal oracle card is Hawk. And this is fantastic for you at this particular time. Hawk, or Sabah, this is a really beautiful bird that has a number of elements and factors that are really important for where you are right now. Hawk spends an awful lot of time up here and bigger picture kind of stuff, thinking about what the future is, which of course is where you're at right now. What do I do? How do I integrate all of these things that I want to do? So for you, it's about bigger picture. But Hawk has the capacity to see detail right down here, because once he can see his prey, he will go diving down. So you have that beautiful balanced ability to look longer term, but also to see detail. For you, it's really important not to focus on the detail too much this coming year. Don't sweat the small stuff, as they say, because Hawk is telling you that the small stuff is not worth worrying about. Hawk also has got the beautiful ability just to sit calmly and warm himself in the sun and just watch what's going on. So for you in this coming year, really important that you spend as much time as you can just in quiet meditation and using that time to fuel new ideas that are just going to come rushing in for you this year, particularly around the business, because as I mentioned before, that's got a little bit more growing and focusing to do yet before it's absolutely spot on. So use that quiet time just to let the ideas flood in for you. And Hawk is very much about meditation and about learning to explore what your purpose and what your role is in life. So this is why I was really excited for you that Hawk came up, because the new job that the new business that you want to put into place and this new relationship are all about manifesting what your purpose and your role is in life. So Hawk was absolutely spot on for you. Hawk is also about planning and preparation, as I said, so he's about being up here and looking at the bigger picture. So I really encourage you to think about Hawk as perhaps a spiritual guide for you in the coming months. Think about the characteristics of Hawk and how his characteristics and his druidic spiritual representations can support you in the year ahead. So with all of that said, I can see a really positive year ahead for you. And it's about for you balancing, and it's about taking time, it's about listening to your intuition, and it's about enjoying the processes as they happen. So enjoy the new changes, the lovely new changes with your partner. No jumping in and diving in. It's a year of nice, slow steps. I hope that's been helpful for you, and I look forward to doing another reading for you at some time in the future.